I am
Great.
doing so much better than last week. And I'll tell you what, those moves, I continued them on, and my back feels like 98% better.
Good
Okay.
job.
Yeah.
Well, take a, I'm going to do, I
How's
was
the pause?
thinking doing back strengthening, but take it easy. And if you're ready for it,
Yes.
good.
Yes. I've still been taking it easy.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out the temperature here. Okay. Well, let's, start with a little bit of warm up then. Yeah, let's go this one. Remember the big breath, let through the crown of the head, interlock the fingers, exhale, stretch, move with the breath. That's the key. With the breath comes awareness, exhale, clasp hands behind the back, inhale. Together. Once more. Good. One more time. Go up and come over into stretch. Move with the breath, inhale, exhale over. And move with the breath, moving up with the inhale, over with the long exhale. Nice big breaths, nice slow breaths. Do one more of these. Enjoy that breath. This time come and hold the pose as you breathe. Inhale, line, each exhale, extend. The alignment is that we're not doing this, but we're really nice and all in one plane, or arm over the ear. Stretch. Feel like you're anchored from the bottom of your hips and you're lifting out from that anchor point. Inhale up and back. So you're rooted down here and lifting all the way up through here. Okay, into a twist. Further. Up and over the other side. And again. And once more. Do one more round. Breath and over. And come and hold the twist. Each inhale, lifting through the crown of the head. Each exhale, letting go. Slowly getting deeper into the twist. And turn the head and look in the opposite direction. Twist from the belly and then tip the head the opposite direction. So there's a little tension in this one. And then release. And then bring the hands up and over. Same thing here. Go all in one direction at first. Each inhale, lifting through the crown of the head. Each exhale, feeling you can relax deeper into the pose, so letting go. But then when we do the reverse, we put a little tension into it. Tipping the head, sort of like wringing the spine. If you know, like you wring a rag dry, so you're wringing the tension out of your spine and letting it go. From here, let's come on up to our hands and knees for a moment. Yeah, pull back in the hips, and inhale, pull back in the hips, lift the shoulders, really lengthen that back, arch. Let's try that a couple more times. Arch on the exhale. This time as you arch, also come back down onto the heels. Forehead, thighs and chest, buttocks on heels, face on mat, or forehead on mat. Inhale, come back up. Big breaths, nice and slow, come in stages. Exhale, arching the back first, then coming down to the heels, or chest on the thighs, then onto your heels, and then forehead on the mat. Reverse, lift that, pull back in the hands, lift the forehead, and up the heels and up your thighs. Let's try that again. Okay, pause here. Actually, just curl the toes and come on up into a downward dog position, lifting hips. Remember the weight to the base of the fingers to protect the wrist. Walking forward, come on to a standing position. And pause a moment while I switch the camera. Okay, good. That should work. Maybe I'll adjust the camera once more. There. Okay, remembering the mountain pose. Feet grounded as if like roots of the tree, they're going into the floor. You lift the toes and stretch those arches. Then bring the toes back down. Again, feel those feet just almost grabbing into the floor, rooted solidly, or like the mountain, rooted deep in the earth. Shins are moved together. It's an isometric, but you put pressure, bringing the shins together, lifting the kneecaps. Lift from the pelvic floor, and so we're pulling up the pubic bone, stabilizing, remember, the lower part of the back, the sacrum, and the hips. Get a deep breath in and out, pull the navel in and up. Shoulders up and back, but buoyant, not tight, but up and back. Upper arms outwards to open the heart center. Elbows down inwards, spreading the fingers. Chin level, throat to the back of the neck. Lift from the collarbone, bring the lower ribs in, feeling a lengthening of the spine. Navel in and up, that inner corset. And finally, imagine a string pulling you up through the crown of the head, even as your feet remain grounded. Like the mountain, the peaks above the clouds, the roots are deep in the earth. And like the mountain, an enduring presence of all the storms, calm days, floods, fires, earthquakes, whatever, the mountain is still here. Okay. Inhale up. Reach, and then bring the left hand down to stretch the right side. I'll be like a mirror for you. Inhale back up. Big breath all the way in. Exhale. And this time the breath is held in this one. About 6 or 8 seconds. Inhale up. Reach for the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Lift hips. Sink chest. And hold breath out. Inhale up. Again, try to ground those feet. Lift pelvic floor, throat, the back, the neck. Then inhale. Arching, focusing on the belly and the chest. Open those up. Not throwing the head back so much. Stable in the hips. You're lifting the pelvic floor. Holding breath in, and then big release. So all the time, remembering those mountain cues as you do this posture. Inhale up, exhale. Breath held out. Inhale up, Exhale over. Breath held out. Inhale, reach, lengthen, fold from the hips, not the shoulders or chest. Lift hips, sink chest, fold breath out. Inhale back up, taking a couple of breaths, recapturing that mountain, particularly lifting the pelvic floor and throat to the back of the neck. Then open that belly, open that chest, breath held in. And release. Let's do one more. I'll switch sides. I'm giving you a side view. Move with the breath. Hold. Inhale up. Fold from the hips as far as you can. Then, the back bends and you're down a ways. Lift hips, sink chest, hold breath out. Inhale back up, ground those feet. Again, lift from the pelvic floor, throat to back to neck. Then inhale. And big release. Excuse me a moment, this is a little warm. I'm having trouble with the temperature adjustment here. Okay. Probably gives you a more visual. Okay, something for opening the shoulders. Or move those feet apart, as far apart as you can. Ideally, might run into something here. Ideally, your ankles would be under your wrist, but as close to that as is feasible for your body. Keeping those arms as much as possible straight across. Turn the shoulders and come down, bringing that right hand halfway in between the legs. The left hand up in the air. Inhale, swivel that left hand forward. Turn your head to look at that left hand. Exhale the left hand back up and turn to look at it and back up. So the neck is turning. First it starts down, then look forward, and then look up. Okay, it's the other side. Left hand down halfway in between the legs. Your gaze is down at that left hand. Inhale, swing that right hand forward, turn to look at that right hand. Exhale, continue looking at that right hand as you bring it back up. Inhale up. Any question about that? Where are we feeling that? Shoulders, neck. Okay, let's continue a few more rounds. Exhale down, right hand, halfway in between. Inhale, swing the left hand forward, turning to look at the left hand. Exhale, looking up, bring the hand up and looking up and back. As much as possible, you're trying to keep a nice sip when you swim. How are we doing there, Sharon? Okay, other side. Down. Much as possible, you're actually not bending the legs, but you might need to bend them a little bit. Inhale forward, exhale up, turn to look up, inhale up. That looks good. Let's do another round. Right hand, inhale forward, exhale up, inhale up. Once the last time, down, inhale forward, exhale up and looking up, inhale up. Walk the feet back together into mountain pose. How's everybody doing with it? Are we okay?
Yes.
Okay, good, good. This one might be a little more challenging. It starts out like the warrior one position. Actually, we haven't done warrior one in a while. Let's do warrior one. So the right foot's forward, the left foot is kind of at an angle. It's not pointed forward, it's a slight angle. As you inhale, you bend that right leg, arms up. Exhale, straighten the leg, bring the arms down. So come in and out with the breath. Back. Again, inhale up. This time, come and hold. Bend that knee, bring the arms up. Stay in the posture for 4 or 5 breaths. And back. So a lot of the poses I'm doing here are more from a therapeutic point of view. One school called Vinyasa, not Vinny. I mean Vinny, not Vinyasa. Vinny. The idea is you move in and out of the pose to warm up the body, then hold the body for the strengthening. So that's the concept we're using. That's their style that I'm using right now. Inhale again, bend that knee, come up. So come in and out. Big breath in, exhale out. Straightening the leg as you come out. Inhale, bending the knee, lifting the arms. Feel the lifting from the pelvic floor too here. Again, lift and back. Okay, this time come and hold. Lift that pelvic floor. Reach. Take deep breaths. And then release. Pause for a moment. Switch back to the first side. Start out in the warrior one position. With that right leg forward, take the right hand and put it right in the small of the back. And the other hand straight up. So this is a variation of it. And this one, the front leg, the right leg is going to stay as straight as possible. So as you exhale, bring that left hand down across the body to your right toe. The knee bends a little, that's okay. Inhale, come only halfway up, just lifting the arm, maybe the head, but not the torso. Exhale down. Inhale again, lifting arm. When you come halfway up, then come all the way back up. Okay, so in the intermediate, you only come halfway. You're really just lifting the arm and head. When you second time, you're coming all the way up, but starting first with the arm and head, and then the rest of your torso. So let's try that again. Exhale down. And that leg stays as straight as you're able to manage. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale again, lengthen. And all the way up. How are we doing? Okay? Challenging a little? Let's do one more. Exhale down. Way up. Down. Inhale slowly. The slower you come, the more you're working on strengthening the back. Renee, is that not good for you?
Feel it a little tight back there. I just a little concerned. Yeah.
Yeah, I would take it easy on this one.
Yes, sir. I did. I was taking it easy.
Okay. But on the other hand, it is a strengthening. It'll help strengthen the back.
Okay. Okay.
So but you know, a strengthening exercise can be good. If you overdo it, can be
Yes, sir.
counterproductive.
Right.
So we have and you know your body.
Yes,
Trust your
sir.
intuition and your feeling. Okay, so switch sides. So what was that? Right, that was the right foot forward. So this time the left. And again, I'm being like a mirror for you. The left hand behind the back this time. Right hand over. Exhale, coming down. Again, the more you lengthen, Renee, you can just shorten this up a little bit. The more you come, you're really trying to reach and get long here. And then that forces you to work against leverage as you come all the way up. And that's the strengthening part. Some people feel it in the guts, some in the back, some in the leg. Again, inhale halfway up. Exhale down. Inhale slowly up. One more if you're up for it. Exhale down. Halfway up. Down. Inhale slowly through the halfway point and then all the way up and back. Okay. Come back and take a breather. I have my timepiece there so I don't lose track of time. Let's come back to that warrior one position, only the other variation that we do a lot in this class. Just the shoulder opener, or I like to think of it as a heart opener. Inhale, bring the arms back, shoulder blades together and back. Again, like in the Vinny style, we come in and out with the breath. And again. And once more. And this time, come and hold the pose. And back. Pause for a moment. Just see what you feel in this heart center, focusing on this center and the feelings you find there. Let's switch sides. So if you're mirroring me, the left foot forward. Again, big breath, in and out first. I think we've done this one before. This time, come and hold the pose. And back. Pause for a moment. I'll come back to a standing position and then inhale, just fold forward. Stretch. Inhale up. Again, exhale forward. Inhale up. And this time, come and stay in the posture, lifting hips, sinking belly, and sliding the hands up so they're right beneath the knees. Lift the shoulders, pull back on the hips, try to feel lengthening through the hips and the back. And then bend those knees and come on back down to your mat. Maybe walk yourself through downward dog. Actually, just come and stay straight for a moment. Called plank pose, so like a board. And then down onto your knees, on your belly, prepping for the cobra as I move the camera. There. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, start by pointing those toes. I should take my glasses off for this one. Inhale, lift shoulders first, then push into lift belly, lower ribs and belly. Hold the breath in. And come back. So now we're with that style, the Ananda Marga style that held breath in many poses. Get a nice big breath in and out. Come in, pull back in the hands, lift the shoulders first, then mid back, and push in to lift lower ribs and belly. Hold. Exhale slowly back down. Just a reminder for that cue, become really quick. There's some really very flexible parts of our back, mainly the middle of the back of the neck and between the lower back and thoracic and lumbar spines, chest and belly. Those places bend really quick. If you come up quick, you're only going to bend from those places. So coming slow in stages is trying to get a little bit of movement, particularly through the thoracic spine, particularly through the shoulders. That's where we're tight. All of us, particularly in our cultures, we hunch over desks, typing or writing or reading or whatever. Okay, so with that little bit, let's keep that in mind as we go forward. A few more rounds. Take a deep breath in and out. Coming up in the inhale. I like pulling back on my hands at the beginning to feel like you're really lifting, you're stretching the back, and then push in. About 8 seconds in the hold. Exhale down. Again, slower is better. Taking deep breaths as you come up and a deep, long exhale as you come down. But start with a big breath in and out. Inhale. Pull back the hands first to lift the shoulders. Come as far as you can, and then we can't come any further. Push in, lift, hold. Exhale slowly down. Let's do 2 more rounds of that, please. Breath in and out. Inhale. And up. Last one. Breath in and out to start. And as you slowly come up, breathing in, pulling back on the hands. So you can't come any further than pushing in. Exhale slowly down. And push yourself up. Let's come into a seated position, sort of like where we were in the beginning. Let me show you a different one. We'll see. There's a wide variety on how flexible people are with this one. But you grab the left wrist behind the back, lift through the crown of the head, and then you fold from the hips and come down. And exhale and hold. And inhale back up. Say in teaching classes, I've seen a wide variety how flexible, particularly men, young college kids, they'll get about like this. Women tend to be more flexible, but if you haven't been doing this kind of thing, even if I stop doing this for a while, I lose flexibility. Okay, so just again, you do loosen up with practice if you like this one. Inhale, lifting through the crown of the head, nice long spine, so they're not curling. We're trying to fold from the hips as we come down. You actually pull back in the buttocks a little bit. Again, slow exhale to come down, then hold for about 8 seconds. And inhale back up. You look like you two are doing fine with this one. Let's do a couple more. Stretch that back. Really pull back with the hips and forward with the shoulders. You feel again you're lengthening the back, stretching it. Renee, I think that could really help you if you feel a stretching of the back, a lengthening. And once more. Up. Okay. Let's do this other one we've done before. I'll have to double check and see. There are verbal descriptions or written descriptions of most of these poses on the website, on our course website. I will double check to make sure some of the ones I did today might not be there. And I'll try to get them on there. But this one we've been doing before, and I know it was on there. Inhale up and again, exhale forward. Again, this idea of pulling back of the hips and stretching those arms to really hopefully feel a stretching out of the back to hold the breath out. Inhale up. And again, a blanket between here if your knees are a little sensitive. I probably should use them. Sometimes I don't. Again, come down, exhale again, breath held out, and again, multiple rounds. Again, in these two styles of yoga, we don't do so many poses. We do them in repetition. Now, really gets the body engaged to them. You know, the other styles that go from pose to pose are fine, but it's just a difference in what's being done. Okay, again, pull back in the hips, reach. Up and inhale. Again, if you wish to strengthen the core muscles, the abdomen, simply keep those arms long. Again, it's the lever effect. Coming down, but not so much that you fall on your face, please. Keep those arms up by the ears as you try to lift up. Again, you're forcing yourself to lift more. Of course, that's strengthening. But again, you have to work with what your body is ready to do. Let's do two more. This time feel letting go. It's like a prayer pose. It's like a letting go, a surrender into the infinite. And back up. Like I like to tell my college students, most of what upsets you, you won't even remember a month from now. So in that sense, if anything's bothering you, this is a nice pose of feeling like you can let it go into the infinity of time and space. It will pass. And back up. Okay. See how we're doing. Good. All right. We'll go through that massage I showed you last week, and then a little shorter relaxation pose tonight. Maybe we'll come back to longer one next week. Rubbing those hands together. Again, remember cupping the eyes, pulling the ridge of the base of the fingers right above the eyebrows and pull down. Again, this helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest part of our nervous system. And try that when you're feeling a little antsy and you want that mind to slow down. Rubbing the hands, our minds. Massage the forehead and the scalp. Down the ears and the temples. The eyebrows and the eyes. Gently on the eyes. Down the sides of the nose and the lips and the chin. With the thumbs underneath the jaw. So you work from the chin all the way on back to the ears, underneath the jaw. Again, this location, a lot of lymph nodes. Lymph is not pumped by the heart. It requires like venous blood movement of the body. And along the throat. Another energy center, also like location of thyroid, parathyroid glands. I like to massage around the larynx here with the thumbs, but another method, of course, is to put pressure from the palms. Sort of like a squeezing. This is sort of what you're doing. Excuse me. Squeezing the endocrine glands. Again, along the shoulder. And the armpit is another rich location of lymph nodes. Lymphatic system is important in the immune system. Working down the arm and the forearm to the wrist. Hand and each finger. Again, appreciating all your hands can do for you. Thumb, between the thumb and forefinger. To remind you that, and from the palm, some healing traditions I've been told, I'm not too familiar with acupuncture, but this I'm told is a pressure point center of the palm. The other shoulder, same thing. Again, appreciating all we can do with our hands. Get along into that armpit where the lymph nodes are and down the arm to the wrist, hand. You know, it took us 3-4 months to even learn to grab something with our hands because the human mind body connection, particularly the hands, is so subtle. Think of the things we can do with hands. We can write, we can type. People play musical instruments. You can do cooking, etching, all kinds of things that most other species don't have that level of control. So one hand over, one hand other along the back. You know, taking time to appreciate things that we normally take for granted. Reverse. It's kind of like the gratitude meditation we did earlier. Just remembering how lucky we are to have a functioning body along the ribs. And again, the chest, and reminding you as women to examine yourselves. Again, breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer in women. Along the belly, not to preach at you, but just to remind you. And in the space here between the bottom of the ribs and the rim of the pelvis, starting from the spine outwards, just massaging that. Again, the so-called QL muscles run here and they tighten up when something feels awry. So oftentimes a tight back is right here. The other place the tight back is through the buttocks, actually, the glutes. So get along the rim of the pelvis where the insertion point for those muscles are. And then with the knuckles, you can pound, you can rub, try to loosen up. And normally we don't think too much about this part of the body, but actually these are big, strong muscles, and they are important for keeping us well aligned and mobile, of course. And then right up along that hip joint, digging with the thumbs, and then along the thigh, and again, you can dig with the thumbs, you can rub, you can chop, whatever feels, whatever you're in the mood for doing tonight. Put the knee a little more gently, rotating that kneecap and pushing underneath. Knee problems? I have knee problems. It's so common. But the calf is another strong muscle. We can really rub and dig into it. And down the Achilles heel. Another massage point, I've been told. Again, I'm not expert on massage, but I learned things from my students, actually. Massaging the top of the foot, the tips of the toes. And turning the foot over along the arch here. Sometimes people like to stroke with the knuckles, or you can get with your thumbs. Or, you know, if you want more pressure, take your elbow, push in. Get a really deep foot massage. Again, I do repeat things on purpose. The whole massage therapy technique of reflexology is massaging the foot and nerve endings and points in the foot, and that includes each toe, base to tip. You can finish with slap, applause, but also it helps stimulate the flow. So what you do on one side, you do on another. And then the kneecap. Down to the Achilles heel. And, you know, working your way, top of the foot to the tips of the toes, along those tendons that you are you can feel through the top of your foot. And when you're ready, turn that foot over. And knuckles, thumbs, elbows. These days they talk a lot about fascia, the tissue between muscles. A lot of it's right here in the feet again. And we spend so much time on our feet. And being at the bottom of our body, they don't get as blood circulation as much. That's why it's good to put your feet up every now and then. And also spread those toes and finish with a slap. And then come down onto your mat, onto your back. Your relaxation pose. If you like something under your head, I usually put a blanket under, but the hands, palms up at a comfortable width from your sides. Same thing with the feet, comfortable width apart. And lift your head to just bring the chin a little bit closer to the collarbone and then drop it down. It's a gentle stretch through the neck, I'd say. Then bring your awareness to your breath. Sensation of each breath coming into your body through your lungs and into the belly, and from the belly back out. And breath by breath and moment by moment. In Sanskrit, this pose, which some say is the most important pose in the yoga, in the thousands of yoga postures there are, it's called Shavasana in Sanskrit, Shavasana, which translates, asana means position comfortably held. Shavasana means corpse pose. That sounds a bit morbid until you remember that in the Bhagavad Gita, there's a time where Krishna is telling Arjuna that we both live many lives. I remember, you've forgotten, but the soul changes bodies the way a person changes clothes. So whether or not you believe in or in tune with reincarnation, I want you to play with the image that you can actually take this body off and leave it lying here, like you would an article of clothing. Letting your mind be free of the body, floating up, letting the body just sink into whatever you're lying on. You know how when you take off an article of clothing, it has no shape. It just kind of very assumes shape of whatever it's lying on. Let your body do the same thing. Let your mind feel for a moment free from the body. Body sensations come through, just let them fade to the background or let them even sink into the mat if that visualization helps you. And just let your mind wander. Maybe where would you go? Maybe to a realm of light, maybe to a realm of peace. Let go of the body, you're also letting go of any things you think you have to do after this class or before, or ruminate over things that have happened. Just let all that go with the body and just experience some stillness. Everything's at peace, everything's okay. You are who you should be. radical self-acceptance, just as you are. Nothing needs to change at the moment. Let go and experience that stillness. A deep stillness comes from deep in space. Yeah, and then notice your mind has wandered away from that stillness. Just come back. Taking the body off, and you're just your mind, and the mind's looking for that place of stillness and peace, a deep peace. It's refreshing. It's rejuvenating. Come back to your body. Bring your mind back if it has wandered, maybe for a couple of breaths. Start to feel those breaths in your body as the chest rises and falls in the belly. You know how you putting on your clothes, just kind of maybe uh, put in one arm at a time or you adjust them. So just kind of feel that way with the body coming back, starting with the breath and the chest and the belly, and up through the neck and the face. Allowing yourself to smile, feeling, yeah, that you're back in with your face and your head. Then through your shoulders, down your arms, elbows, the elbows down to the wrists, forearms and wrists, and hand and fingers, moving those fingers a little bit, again, as if you're getting yourself back into the body. And then that breath from the chest to the belly, and from the belly through your hips, down the hip joint, through your thighs to your knees and the kneecaps, and then from the kneecaps down your calves to your ankles, and your feet to your toes, and moving your toes and moving the legs and arms again, as if you're putting that body back on, getting yourself nice and comfortable with it. And when you do, then bring your knees to your chest and roll over to one side and pause there for a moment. Kind of that fetal nurturing or nurtured pose, and then push yourself back up. Okay. Okay, I'll come in here a little bit closer. Let's see. Screen. Should I do that? Yeah, that does. Yeah. Okay. Um, oh, here we go. Pen. Okay. So, second here. Oops, that's the wrong one. Here we go. Okay, so let's go to classwork. Okay, so I'm not sure how many of you got a chance to look at the reading, but I'll go over some of it with you. Um, let's see. I think what I need to do, go back here. Okay, where are you? Zoom. Oh yeah, back to Zoom. Okay. See if I can share the screen. Well, yes, but I'm not finding what I'm looking for. Hmm. Oh, here we go. So, we're seeing the week 7 schedule here. So I gave you 4 readings. One of them is just the CDC table of leading causes of mortality in the U.S. And I don't think it's any surprise to you that heart disease and cancer are number 1, 2. And that was in 1922 or 2022, excuse me, when COVID was at its height. So even at its height, COVID never quite surpassed cancer as a leading cause of mortality. And then there was this YouTube by Dr. Ornish, and then a handout on radical healing and Eric Adams. Should be a handout. There they are right here at the bottom. Radical healing and Eric Adams. So I'm going to try some questions, and then if we can refer back. So I did prepare a few discussion questions for today, and let's see how they go. So based on those readings, and if you haven't had a chance, you can look at them on your computer. So did you see the story of Eric Adams? Does everybody know who Eric Adams is? Sharon, who's Eric Adams?
Well, I read the article, but is he famous for something? I didn't really catch that. He
What?
just had what the article was about was that he was healthy, but he was just a little bit overweight, and then he found out that he had severe diabetes, which shocked him.
In other words, he wasn't
Um,
really as healthy as he thought he was.
yeah, and then he went to this study and where half the people were I think it was that kind of study where half the people just were on medication, the other half were on lifestyle changes, and or maybe there weren't two groups, I don't know, but at any rate he got better and he got rid of the diabetes, and
Yes.
it was real severe case too.
Yeah, he was actually woke up, he couldn't see. He was borough president of Brooklyn Borough at the time. He's
Oh,
now mayor of New York.
he's the mayor of New York?
He's the
Oh,
mayor of
well,
New York City, and he's been in the news a bit.
oh,
He's a he
don't
is
I
a
feel stupid?
controversial figure, but
I've been avoiding the news. I think I told you that,
oh, okay.
but I'll have
Yeah,
to pay more
he's
attention.
currently the mayor of New York City. Um, he went to the Cleveland Clinic with Dr. Esselstyn,
Oh,
who had been treating heart patients, but as maybe I think you kind of confused it with the
yeah, I
view
think so.
from Dr. Ornish. Dr. Ornish was
Right.
providing data. Um, and so in Dr. Esselstyn's group, they were all there. Esselstyn wasn't doing experiments. He was actually prescribing diet and lifestyle, mostly lifestyle. So, what do you think of this? You know, here's one story, and uh, if you haven't, I mean, what was the article I shared with you was a part of uh, Mr. Adams' autobiography. Uh, I think the name of the book is Healthy at Last. And he's a very, well, as you expect for a politician, a very entertaining speaker. Uh, and yeah, he's quite a character. But so what about this story? This is a question I gave to my students, but from a point of view of studying health, is this which of these options do you think is the best? It's an entertaining story, but the results are anecdotal. Anecdotal means uh, it worked for one person, but we don't have evidence that it's very universal. Okay. Is it a powerful demonstration of the healing? Does it mean this will work? B is more of a powerful demonstration. Uh, Anecdotal, but because it is only one story, but it's backed up by scientific studies. Important demonstration of being the change you want to see in the world. Because remember, he was a position, even at the time, he was borough president of Brooklyn. So he had the ability from his office to make changes, or an effective approach for improving public health. Which of those options would you say is the best? Again, the word best. There can be truth to all of them, but which one would you say is the best summary of that story? So you read it, Sharon. What did you think?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, but I first go to a powerful demonstration of the healing power of the food plant-based diet, the whole food plant-based diet. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that acronym, but that's the one they use. Why they use whole food, by the way? Why not just vegan or plant-based? And actually, it's getting shortened to plant-based.
Because you could still get processed food that is plant-based. You get vegan food, frozen meals and stuff.
Vegan
And
berries.
I think that they're trying to say that, yeah, the more you do to the food, um, the worse it is. So, just, eat an apple and, I mean, you can eat applesauce. It's probably not that serious, but, instead of, a can of something, just eat something real.
Some of these juices that aren't even, I mean, cider is at least mostly apple juice, but some of these
Yeah,
have everything in
yeah.
them. Okay, okay. Yeah, that's the difference basically. Reason for whole food is because a lot of people when vegan became popular, they got into trouble because they still ate a lot of overly refined food, a lot of sugar, a lot of fat. You can do that being totally plant-based. So, Renee, what do you think? I don't know if you got a chance to
I
read this.
did not get a chance to read the article, but
So based on Sharon's summary, and
I would agree. And just based on my own personal knowledge of diabetes and getting it under control and developing it, I would have to agree with Sharon that B would seem like the best answer there.
okay. Actually, I think the one thing that for me tipped it towards E is the fact that um, they're all correct. They're not incorrect. Although A, if this were an isolated case, but the fact that Dr. Esselstyn was able to prescribe this meant that there was something to back up. The reason it tips for A is one part you left out of the story, Sharon, was once he cured himself, Eric Adams being borough president and now mayor of New York, he made some changes. So now there's a meatless Monday in the New York City schools and plant-based Friday, again in New York City schools. Bellevue Hospital, and I think now 11 hospitals. Patients, the default menu is plant-based. They can order something else, but more than 50% of the patients do order plant-based diets. And again, plant-based here means whole food plant-based, and they enjoy it. And again, the other, I think, significant part of the story is he and his girlfriend were expecting some kind of really tasteless stuff. And what Dr. Esselstyn's wife served them as a sample was delicious. That there are ways, if you start using spices and learn to cook, there are many. And if you learn to just enjoy the food, I mean, if you're getting good produce, good vegetables, um, in season, fresh, they alone taste well. I think a lot of people don't like vegetables because in restaurants or something, the way they prepare it, they cook it to death. So I think to me, those are some of the important points. And I don't know how long it'll last, because with politicians, things come in and out of favor. It's really going to be interesting to see what this new federal regime, because the Biden administration actually held a conference. Eric Adams was one of the speakers, along with some senators and all that was actually going towards us. So we'll see whether make America healthy again. Uh, I don't know. They might actually do something, although they might screw things up too. They definitely have the potential for doing that. That's all I'll say on the politics. Okay, that is Eric Adams' story. Um, what's the next question? The next question I had, I don't know how many of you saw the slides about the radical remission. Renee, were you able to look at the? I
I
posted the.
did I did look at that. Yes.
Okay. Here I'm not actually gonna explain what's your what do you think best summarizes the lessons learned from that?
Well, I understood radical remission was when it wasn't that when it just happened just all of a sudden, and it was I mean, I thought it was when it was she saying that when it was quick, it just happened? Like, was that what
No, no,
like,
it was stage four. Stage
okay,
four basically is almost hospice.
right,
Right. We're just, we can't do anything for you. This is going to kill you, but we're going to try and make you comfortable. Um,
right,
and in the literature, it was interesting because, I was trained in, the training I had is more of a biochemist. I would never have thought of this, but she came from more of a social background, social science.
right,
She's looking through the literature, and there were these cases that called spontaneous remission, where these stage four cancers just went away.
okay,
And physicians did not want to talk about that because they didn't want to give their patients false hope. Well, she says, has anybody ever talked to these people? So she, for her PhD thesis in Berkeley, she went around interviewing these people. What did you
Right.
do? And they all
Well,
did things. They went to healers, and then I think she is in the slides. She accumulated over 70 different things they did, but these nine factors kept coming up. They all did most of the nine factors. So it's like looking at a whole group of people, bewildering number of things, but these things kept coming up. And right now, that, well, I don't know about funding the way the administration's doing, but it was under clinical trials. But again, this was people whose stage 4 cancer went away, and instead of saying spontaneous remission, she renamed it radical because they took radical steps, and those are the nine steps that are in the slide. Um, so what do you think? I mean, these are just, I mean, what's your feeling about what you read, Renee?
well, I would think that the combination of the WFPB diet with fasting and detoxification is a powerful combination for healing.
Okay.
Um, Honestly, all of those kind of make sense to me.
Uh-huh.
Um, if it's true that stage 4 can even be cured with lifestyle adjustments, I mean, all four of those sound like they would really be important.
Okay. And Sharon, what were your thoughts? Did you were able to look at these?
Yeah, I did. I would say B because I mean that's the headline, that's what is was so exciting about it. I mean, you can say that, well, fasting and detoxification is good and everything, but to really say something that can radically, that wakes you up because it's more radical. So, and that's what
I,
it's basically saying. Lifestyle is what you're changing, and then I think the mental and emotional outlook follows the lifestyle change.
yeah, that they go together. That
They go together, but if you change your lifestyle, your mental and emotional outlook is gonna
oh, I
perk
see.
up, it's
That's a nice
gonna
point.
get
They
you
kind of
strong.
feed on each other, right?
Yeah.
You feel better, then you're more motivated to make more lifestyle changes.
Mm.
Yeah, it can kind of cycle. Of course, it cycles the opposite way too, unfortunately, and some people get into uh yeah, I didn't have a preference here. The emotional and mental and emotional are equally important, I think. It's hard to say, isn't it? I'm not sure what they're doing in the clinical trials. If I were to do it, well, maybe that's my next question. What's the next step? So I don't know if you remember, I think
Yeah.
earlier we talked about, I think I gave you slides on what means knowledge. There's three ways we learn about things in nutrition. One is with animal studies, which have the advantage that you can control everything, so you really know what's happening. But they're usually rats or mice, and these days I don't think people like to do them. I didn't like to do them when I had a postdoc and had to work with rats. So and then there's you study populations, but those you never know. Some populations will have less of one kind of disease, but you never know exactly what they're doing. That's different. And this study is a little bit like that, except that it kind of distilled out nine things, by comparison. So it's kind of a unique study. And the other one is clinical trials, where you actually have a control group. That's sort of more or less what Dr. Ornish talked about. These are the ways you know things. And right now, I think they're trying to sort this out. But how would you do it? let's say you were a medical researcher and you had this data that these are things people do, the people who got well did. What's the next question? I'm challenging you here a bit. What do you think, Renee? What would you want to know um, after looking through those slides and seeing the possibility? What questions would you come into your mind?
Well, I mean, I would think that the results should be widely promoted amongst the general public.
Okay.
And then, I mean, I guess I was not looking at it so much from like as far as Eric Adams being the one that wrote that report, he would look at it more from like getting the public involved as opposed to just more so on a personal basis.
Yeah,
So
after
from
he, I
that
mean,
standpoint, I would think that E would be,
okay.
uh, yeah.
Sure. What questions what would you have about this?
Yeah, I mean, I would say E too. It seems,
Hmm.
I'm not a medical person either, a medical professional
I
either,
know,
but it
maybe
seems
I'm not
like
sure.
in general, the more humane approach.
Okay. Yeah, and again, I do come from a science background and public health. I think what I would want to know is she interviewed people who had gotten well. Uh, let's have people try this. How effective is it? I mean, we don't hear about the people who didn't get well, right? She didn't interview those. Uh, and we don't know. And of course it wasn't systematic. People were just trying all kinds of things. Now that she's distilled 9 factors, that's something they can test. And that's where the clinical trials were at Harvard. She somehow made a connection with the folks there, both the School of Public Health and Harvard Medical School. And it'd be exciting. I mean, the possibilities definitely if we're a little certain about exactly what is important, but quite frankly, we're seeing these same results everywhere else, right? I mean, the diet is exactly the same thing other people are seeing, and the other things. Let's just go over the 9. Uh, okay, we know about diet, a passive, your attitude, not being passive, intuition. That maybe is a little more surprising. I think the herbs and supplements is the was the weakest of the correlations, but still probiotics has been important. So again, this isn't something that's unique to this study. And these other things, releasing suppressed emotions, we've seen that I think in some of the other work that we had, the whole loving kindness meditation, increasing positive emotions, the gratitude practice, which, by the way, is one of the more favorite practices of my undergraduates. Is again, and I think the two of you have been doing this. Is just take time every day to say, "What am I grateful for?" That is incredibly healing. So these are things that are not coming out of nowhere, right? Social support. Oh, I should try to. There's a couple of things I could show you on this. Which I didn't include here. Roseto was a small, tightly knit town in Pennsylvania where the people would all come from a same town or area of southern Italy in the late 1800s. And they had a real cohesive bond up to about 1960. And their rate of, they were just looking at heart disease, and their rate of heart disease was lower, even though the diet and everything else in the lifestyle seemed to be the same, but they were really this close knit. And then the younger generation in the 60s and 70s, you know how everything spread. People became more mobile, the community wasn't as tight, and that so-called halo effect from the small town disappeared. So again, these are things that are not they're not just coming out of this study. They're coming out of um, other work. And in one of his books, Dr. Ornish shared that he had, again, recovery. People who had a heart attack. How long did they live? How long did they recover from it? I might even be able to find that and show it to you. I think you would be interested in this. This is a kind of a strange way to do it. Um, yeah. Okay. I think if I bring this up, you can see this graph here. What this is, the bar represents the percentage of people who died 6 months after having heart surgery or heart attack. Um, and the groups on the bottom, the groupings are, did you have two questions? Did you participate in a group? Again, did you have that group connection? The next one was spirituality. Did you have a spiritual connection? This tall graph, these are people who had neither. That's the percentage dying, very high. These two had one or the others. I think this one had social support, this one had religious, or vice versa. This one had both. So again, what we see here in I don't know, did you see that? Or I guess I was not, I don't think you saw that because I was sharing my screen. Or no, I'm not
No,
sharing my
we
screen.
could see it on your pic on your
In the main area, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, we could see it. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but then you weren't seeing the screen, huh?
No.
Huh.
Okay, now we can see it good.
Oh, okay. Now you can see, what do you see now?
You?
You?
Okay. I have to get myself out. Okay, so you can see the book from here.
Yes, much
Okay.
better now.
Good. Oh yeah, much bigger.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So let's go back here though. But now do you see the slides?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So again, what I just showed you was completely different source, but same thing, social support, spiritual connection, and finally having strong reasons for living. So these 9 things that she found, they're not coming out of left field, so to speak, are they?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of data, and these are things that are within our control, I think, aren't they? To
Yeah.
some extent?
Yeah, we're left. Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what else I can come up with here. What I want to do is come to Dr. Ornish's talk. I thought I had that. Um, well, maybe we can actually come up with it. So, what was your? Actually, let me go back here to my question. See what my next question was. Okay. Uh, okay. Oh, well. Yeah, this is healthy eating. I already showed you the answer. Eat real food, not too much, mostly plants. That's a person named Michael Pollan. Um, but one thing I want to say about food, the goal is healthy eating, not become obsessed with food. The so-called foodie. Eat to live, not live to eat. So I just want to leave that there. What was your impression? How many of you were able to see Dr. Ornish's talk?
Yeah, it's not. Uh-huh.
I saw it.
Yeah, he covered a lot of ground here. He
Yeah, he
covered,
did very quickly
Gotta
too. I
think
was
a second.
impressed.
Yeah.
pardon? What'd you say, Renee?
No, I say he covered a lot of information very quickly. I was impressed.
Well, he's been doing this sort of stuff for 40 years.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I
He's
think
been
that's,
involved in a lot of studies, and yeah,
I know a lot of times the things I've read, when you come in green to something to listen to an expert.
it's kind of mind blowing. Yeah, and then at first I thought he was talking off of the top of his head. It took me a minute to see that he was reading off of some prompters. I was like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense because he barely took a breath. And
Well,
he,
I'm sure he's given variations of these talks enough that the
yes,
prompters are just to remind himself what he's going to talk about.
right, right,
There's something to be said about having done something over and over. He can be
right,
very impressive, but well, not that he isn't a bright guy. I mean,
right.
and but again, he was trained as a physician, and he broke with traditional care. Uh, I I think did he talk about this? Oh yeah, he did talk about this story, didn't he? About one of his first experiments when he put all those people in a room together. And one was an older guy who was homophobic, and another guy was younger and
That
gay.
might have been the other one.
Started
We
yelling
saw a
at each
couple.
other and clutching their chests.
I think we saw a couple of his videos. So I think the first one had that.
Yeah.
I don't, but yeah, we definitely heard him say that. Yeah.
Okay, so he covers again, diets is one piece of it, and it's a very strong piece of it. But I think really the theme today was putting it all together. The emotional part is very important, and they go together. I know in his book and in one of his talks, he talks about having interviewed some of his patients and said, uh, "I don't get it. Why do you smoke, work too much? You're doing all these things that seem maladaptive." And he said, and I come back to him and said, "Dean, you don't get it. These things get us through the day. I have 20 friends in this pack of cigarettes. You're going to take my 20 friends away from me? What are you going to give me?
Right.
If you don't deal with that underlying pain, all the knowledge about healthy eating doesn't do you any good. You're going to find ways to try to numb that. And really what we're trying to do is live life and not be trying to avoid it. To me, that's the underlying message. But what'd you think? Okay, so Renee, other than being overwhelmed by the amount of ground he covered, what's one or two things that you take away from that, just off the top of your head?
Oh, wow. Oh gosh. It was, I mean, he talked about all the different studies and stuff that they had done.
Yeah.
And just basically that it turns out to be true that all of these things do affect your health, how you eat, your stress level,
Mm.
all of those things affect your health. And I mean, the studies just show that you can make positive changes by making positive lifestyle changes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good. And Sharon, what did you take away from?
Well, I remember him talking about the cows and that
Okay.
he said just eating a hamburger. He talked about how expensive it was and how depleting natural resources
Uh-huh.
just for having a hamburger, and then the cow farts you
All right.
are worse for the environment
You
than
need to see this.
cars or anything. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I was trying to skip forward there. I don't know what happened and I lost it. But I was going to skip forward to that cartoon. Remember that cartoon with the cows
With
going to
the
the
cows
slaughterhouse?
were, yeah.
And
They
Well,
said they
my only
always, yeah,
yeah, my consolation is they're killing themselves.
by eating them. Yeah.
So let's see if I can find it. I don't know what's with this now. How do I get rid of this?
well, sometimes they make you watch the commercials. Well, there you go.
There it is.
There it is.
Oops. But I was supposed to actually stop there.
Yeah, he definitely was plant-based person. Plant-based
Okay.
food. Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about today?
Mhm.
So next week, I really want to talk more about public health things. Let's see if I can. Week 7. Um, I'm gonna have to update the syllabus. I keep making changes or finding things I want to update, but let's see if we can bring it up here. So really what I wanted to talk about in this one is more of a public health. Again, I teach for the School of Public Health here. This is the reading. I'll post these.
Okay.
Uh, this is a Los Angeles Times article. And really, one of the things we're getting into in risk for health, why? A lot of this is going to be about social justice too. And then Dr. Nessel's talk, she's an emeritus professor at New York, NYU, New York University. She must have been about 80 when she made this talk. She still has an active blog. She's born in 1936, so she's 88, pushing 89. And Dr. Esselstyn is still alive and somewhat active, and he's at 91, as is Colin Campbell. So these people are actually living what they talk about. I really recommend her video, this article. Yeah, look at this. What it does is it breaks down um, life expectancy by county in the United States. And I think that's very revealing. This gets into the social justice of it, as does this article here. And then the role of vested interest. And that has, again, who's making money off of the food. Because, we've talked about healthy food here, but why is it not more available? And why is it available in some neighborhoods and not others? And why are the convenience stores selling rows and rows of stuff we know is not good for us? So those are the questions I want to get to next week.
Okay.
Um, Otherwise, anything more from your side?
No, not from me.
Sharon? Any questions, thought?
Well, I'm just gonna miss the class. Next week is the last one, right? No.
Yes, it is.
Um,
Give you your Wednesday night back, but then again, okay, well, thank you, Sharon.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Scott, I think we can stop the recording if you're there.
Okay. He ran